everybody. Oh man, I have to warn you, I'm very sweaty. It's gonna take a minute for my temperature to come down. I'm gonna read, and then we'll do like Q&A. We'll have some fun, we'll talk to each other, and then I'll sign. Does that sound good? Okay. I'm gonna read, this is for Katie, who had a shirt made to commemorate this essay. And like, if you want to get into my good graces, that's how you do it. So those of you who didn't make shirts, you know, next time. Also, I wanted to say hello to all the lesbians. Lesbians, you can clap more than that. Come on, I know those hands are tired, but you can clap more than that. Okay, all right. I'm gonna read from this new book, because it's not selling as well as the others. And this is an essay called I Like It. This is not an advice book, and I don't know anything. I don't make a lot of goals because it's hard to do things that are different from what you're currently doing. It's also embarrassing when you fall short, especially when that shit is easy. Drink more water? Can't do it. Go to bed earlier? But what about my shows? Give up sugar? Not possible. Save more money? But what about buying stuff? Learn a new skill? Where and also how and also with what brain? Get organized? But I love mess. Lose weight? Is there a pill for that? And if so, get in cheese like a dog? Eliminate bad habits? Who would I be without them? Have compassion for myself, but I'm a dumbass who sucks at everything and is unworthy of love. I don't have a lot of coping mechanisms that aren't wholly self-destructive, but here is one good one that I will recommend: saying I like things that I like. At first blush, this doesn't sound revolutionary, I know, but let's get into it. One of the tools that people who are shitheads use to make people who are not feel like shit is the casual dismissal of things those people like. We all know some total fucking asshole who's like, ew, that's your coffee order? You stayed at that hotel? You're going to that party? Why do you use Vaseline? They say things in a way that makes you feel like you have to apologize for liking them, that puts you on the defensive, that sends you down an internal spiral thinking, why do I like the dumb shit I like? And questioning your entire life's history of tastes and choices, all because you had the nerve to express enjoyment of something mundane. Or the interaction can go something like this. Me, I thought name of innocuous movie that is perfectly fine, was good. Them, feigning shock, you did? Well, I thought it was sophomoric garbage with no character development and an implausible ending. Seriously, we're talking about a thoroughly enjoyable popcorn movie here. I can't believe you're into it. This is where they stop, a satisfied smugness spreading across their slimy face, and wait expectantly for you to conjure a defense for a movie or a book or a television show or the store where you buy shirts or the place where you get your cat groomed or you didn't make and have no emotional attachment to. Whenever this happens to me, my automatic reaction is to feel stupid and ashamed, like I should apologize for not understanding that a thing I enjoyed was poorly made or offensive to people who actually know what quality is. Let me tell you something. One time, I was at home, in my own home, and one of our neighbors came over. There's a lot of neighbors in this story, but one of our neighbors came over, and I had a copy of Gone Girl on the dining room table, and she was like, I thought you were a feminist. And I was like, well, a woman wrote it. And the whole book is about her jamming up a man. That's like my feminist manifesto. And she was like, I can't believe you like that book. So this is for her too. I get embarrassed for being a person with basic tastes who does not interrogate things very deeply. A person who needs to be smacked in the face with the subliminal message because I absolutely will not suss it out for myself. Can someone explain parasite to me, please? I did not get that shit. Like, I got it, but I didn't, get it. The embarrassment usually leads to my second-guessing both myself and my interpretation of whatever it is we're talking about. Oh, so what you're trying to say is that I'm not supposed to think Mission Impossible Fallout is intellectually stimulating and the greatest film of all time? This then devolves into an even more embarrassing apology. I'm so sorry for not understanding what good acting is. And that continues until I shrivel into a husk and die, vowing with my dying breath to never again publicly express joy or excitement. Some friend of my wife said to me, who am I, a balding stand-up comic in 1987? After using the dry cleaner recommendation she'd asked me for a week earlier. That strip mall where you told me to get my pants hemmed is so depressing. I can't believe you go there. I leaned against my open front door in a fraying hoodie and soiled pajama bottoms, blinking at her over my first Diet Coke of the day. What did she want from me? What was I supposed to say? I can't believe you go there, she repeated, and it became clear to me that she wanted an explanation, an apology. Unfortunately, I was in no mood to be forced to atone for a place I did not conceptualize, did not build, do not own, do not live in, do not profit from, frequently use with satisfaction, and told her about as a courtesy because she asked me. Wanting to keep this early morning interaction as brief as possible, my brain cycled through the possibilities of how to respond. I could apologize for helping her and solving her problem, apologize for having poor taste in local shopping plazas, apologize for being alive, apologize, then snarkily ask how her dry cleaning turned out, and then immediately and reflexively apologize for being snarky. Imagine me saying, I'm sorry that the home of Bill's greeting card hut and Lucy's luxury lashes wasn't up to your exacting standards, and I apologize for making you look at dull brown bricks. I would rather live inside the value city that's next door to Glamour Nails. But I didn't say anything, and she chuckled again, saying, "It's so ugly," followed by an anticipative pause. And I don't know, man, the smoothie spot is pretty good, and the out-of-business DVD store is oddly comforting to me. So I arranged my face into something resembling cheerfulness and said, in my highest octave, I like it. Gotcha, bitch. I watched as she searched for something to say next since I dodged the trap she'd set and whatever further insult she had prepared to hit me with. I like it, I chirped again. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't remember if I slammed the door in her face or kicked her backward down my concrete steps. But what I do know is that day a new person was born. An upgraded version of myself that no longer felt shamed by some smarty pants making fun of the John Grisham novel poking out of my backpack. I'd need a sociology degree to write about this in a real way, but we live in such a hilariously stupid time where everyone is just hurling expectations of justification at each other constantly. And I'm sorry, lads, but I don't like it. I have no idea what news is real, or which celebrity, okay, wait, let me tell you something. I was listening to a podcast this morning while I was getting ready, and they're talking about this rumor that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston are having an affair. And I believe it. I'm so stupid, and I love stupid shit, and I was like, good for her. No, I don't, like, fake news is for people like me. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I have no idea what news is real, or which celebrity is an actual good person, or what zeitgeisty show most deserves my attention, or which cause is the correct one for me to text my $10 monetary support to. But I do know that if I pick the wrong one, someone I don't know very well, or maybe don't even know at all, is going to demand to know why. I can't live in hell and make excuses for ravenously consuming a shitty reality show produced by a person I don't know personally on a network I am unaffiliated with. You can use I like it, the exclamation point is necessary. Anytime some freak questions a regular ass thing you enjoy, and it'll swipe their legs out from under them every single time. And you can stand over their quivering body with your subpar taste and laugh your face off. Deploy it whenever you want, then sit back and watch your judgmental friends splutter and try to choke out a response. Because what people like that really want is to show off how much more cultured and evolved they are than you, and saying, I like it, including the exclamation point, I mean it, robs them of that opportunity. They want to fight and pick apart the shaky defense you had to come up with on the fly for, I don't know, the place you get coffee from just because it's close to your house. Let's practice. Why are you listening to Justin Bieber? I like it. I can't believe you still drink milk. I like it. Why haven't you replaced your shitty car? I like it. Gross, you still use Instagram? I like it. That shirt, whole outfit is so ugly. I like it. You're watching that dumb show again? I like it. Your dog is so naughty. I like it. I can't believe you go to Trader Joe's. I like it. Another Samantha Irby book. I like it. Thank you. Should I read something else? You want me to read something else? Do any requests in the house? There was one earlier, but I couldn't remember what essay that she wanted a reading from. Anything? Anyone?
It's from the Yellow Book.
Okay.
It was like you were talking about going on a trip to meet your spouse at a remote cabin using Siri to help get you there.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, here's the thing about this one. Is my wife's here. And if that wasn't bad enough, one of her children is here. And this is about sex. Robin, I won't do that to you. Know that in my heart, I'm reading that essay to you, but like, I gotta sit for 2 hours in the car with this kid after this. And I cannot be talking about their mother's vagina in front of them. I mean, you know she has one, but, okay. Anything else? Okay. There's one that I always read, or when I was on tour with this book that I always read, and people love it. It's about when I was in college for 1 year, and you want that one? Okay. Okay. I mean, you, spoiler alert. Okay. No, it's great. Thank you. It's called A Christmas Carol. My freshman year of college, I accidentally became best friends with a couple of grade A douchebags. I didn't even want to go to college, but I couldn't fix cars, and I couldn't do hair, and I hadn't had a baby sophomore year, so an accredited university was the next best choice. What I really wanted to do was pull a blanket over my head and listen to Pearl Jam's No Code on repeat while eating snacks and pretending to be searching for myself all day. But I couldn't find anyone willing to pay for that shit. The state, however, was offering me $15,000 to sleep through English 102 and watch The Young and the Restless. How could I refuse? The bro was called Adam and his bra went by John, and it was my first experience with the species inside its natural habitat, a medium-sized state school with a flexible GPA admissions requirement. I ran into them, literally, while getting off the elevator on the sticky hot freshman move-in day. Adam reached for my large cardboard box full of grunge CDs and an economy-sized bottle of Head and Shoulders, while John grabbed the small television tucked under my arm, and they marveled at my minimalist approach to dormitory life. "You don't know any poor people?" I asked as I struggled to keep up, the backpack stuffed with my 2 good pairs of jeans and a handful of t-shirts shifting uncomfortably across my spine. "They were seniors," John told me over his shoulder as we pushed past the crying parents and exasperated teenagers dotting the hallway, and had been roommates for all 3 years prior. He was inordinately proud of their novelty disco ball and fridge full of brews, and promised to show me their room later. Adam, though Jewish, was from the north side of Chicago and considered himself a homie, as was evidenced by his low-slung baggy jeans and the insertion of out-of-context Snoop Dogg lyrics into almost every conversation. He had large, sleepy brown eyes and a slow smile and was the kind of guy who hit on black girls by demonstrating his encyclopedic knowledge of Luster's pink oil hair lotion and BET primetime programming. If a dude talks to you about Tyler Perry movies, run. John was your typical West suburban, chest-thumping meatbag with a body built for date rape and a giant shellacked auburn head that remained defiantly empty, save for a handful of professional baseball statistics and whatever Greek letters you need to learn to pledge the fraternity with the most lenient academic prerequisite. John was the kind of dude who already looked like someone's dad. You know what I mean? Like the kind of dude in mirrored shades who chews bubblegum really hard with his arms crossed over his chest. The kind of perpetually tan, leathery skinned motherfucker who always looks like he's standing on a sideline somewhere. The kind of asshole you are continually surprised to find without a whistle around his neck. A gentleman who should be shouting red-faced into a Bluetooth or standing on a deck he proudly built, flipping burgers on a grill he got on sale at Lowe's. They weren't bad dudes, though John's slick back hair and unironic gold chains sometimes made me want to punch him in the dick. I kind of felt bad that these dinosaurs were still working on BAs in communications and eating cafeteria lunch with 18-year-olds despite their visibly graying beards. Over time, the 3 of us became friends because, in exchange for my discounted tuition, I had to post up at the overnight desk in the lobby of our dorm as part of my work-study package, checking IDs while trying not to fall asleep or get vomited on. It was not glamorous work, and I was not very good at it. Mostly my job was blocking drunk dudes from entering a dorm they didn't live in and keeping the Papa John's guy company as he waited for girls in top knots and printed pajama bottoms to come down and collect their cheese-only pizzas. John and Adam loved what little nightlife DeKalb, Illinois had to offer. And after several nights of staggering in at 2 a.m., totally shithoused and with no identification, they started to recognize me on our floor and would call out, "Hey, Amanda," every time I walked past their open door with a giant bag of Doritos on my way to watch Jerry Springer in the communal lounge, because I would risk the tenuous grasp I had on that job to give them a pass. I was having a hard time finding my groove. I had a handful of friends to eat dinner and go to the movies with, but I grew up with nice kids in a nice town that had a nice school with a college and career center filled to overflowing with brochures from idyllic liberal arts college campuses across the country. I was dumb enough to be hopeful that something nice would finally happen for me. The earlier part of my lackluster senior year had been filled with daydreams of escape and reinvention, my cool New York feminist Sarah Lawrence self, or my crunchy, artsy Bennington self, or my sexually free Oberlin self. I could see the sprawling lawns and smell the libraries full of old books. I had pored over all of the hip college guides, the ones that skipped all the percentages and statistics in favor of real talk about what kind of jeans to wear to class and the best local bars at which to test out your fake ID. I wrote thoughtful, honest essays trying to explain how a person with a 1520 on the SAT was also the same person who never took physics or trig for that matter, and hadn't bothered with any AP courses and had just barely held on to a 3.2 GPA because they let me take Spanish and choir for honors credit. I went through my sweaters and boots looking for ones that might work in New England in the fall. I filled page after page with my handwritten good intentions, exchanged my saved babysitting cash for money orders to have those applications processed, then enclosed them in fat, creamy envelopes and sent them off just before the deadline to lovely sounding places like Williamstown and Northfield and Claremont. Months later, as names like Stanford and Wesleyan and Princeton bounced excitedly off the walls of the Student Center, I was coming home every afternoon to skinny rejection letters mixed in with my sister's subscriptions to Essence and Cooking Light. My counselor skimmed my list of colleges over her reading glasses while I thumbed through one of the many astrology books lining her shelves. Oh, Miss Pentek, she was the best. She'd be like, "As an Aquarius, you should take," and I'm like, "How do you have a job?" She reassured me that there were colleges out there that would look past the C- in Latin American history and into the core of who I really was as a sensitive, creative air sign. But she suggested I probably should add a couple safety schools to my list so that I definitely had somewhere to enroll come the following autumn. This is the problem with neither applying oneself nor working up to one's potential. These moments when you are reduced to a bunch of abstract letters and numbers whose unflattering reflection cannot be charmed or joked aside. On paper, I'm an asshole, a National Merit Scholar who barely passed chemistry and had to take 3 different gym classes senior year because I failed one freshman year and dropped out of the summer school makeup class. 3 summers in a row. I led an insurrection of my classmates and refused to read The Grapes of Wrath, for which I should have been expelled. The schools I daydreamed about going to, you know, the ones with the lawns and the sweaters, they were looking for girls who got A's and volunteered at homeless shelters after school. I got mostly B's and a lot of C's and spent my afternoons watching Ricki Lake and sleeping until dinner. My acceptance letter from Northern Illinois University, received 2 weeks before graduation, basically read, "Our condolences. Here's where you pick up your books." "What's my name, fool?" Adam said. That's a Snoop Dogg reference. He liked to quote Snoop Dogg a lot. Letting himself into my room without knocking. Because I had let that dummy cheat off my biology final, he'd offered to drive me back to Evanston for the 2-week winter break, where I was going to grudgingly listen to people I passive-aggressively hated whining about how oppressive their course loads were at Harvard, and pretending I hadn't just taken a 300-level math class at Northern in which the professor had used rhymes to teach trig. My roommate Kara had already gone home for the holidays, and Adam made himself comfortable on her bed, his long legs dangling off the extra-large twin mattress as they'd done dozens of times before. We'd spent many nights just like this, in beds opposite each other as we shoveled Chinese food into our mouths from cardboard containers and watched trash TV or listened to records with a bag of greasy Taco Bell. College was surprisingly lonely. It turns out I'm not very good at making friends unless I am already trapped in an insufferable hellscape with someone who doesn't mind my cracking a few inappropriate jokes as we circle life's drain. I kept being introduced to people who didn't know any Black people, or more often than not, any Black people like me, which they exclaimed while taking me in with eyes widened to the size of dinner plates, as if I'd just hopped off a spaceship with my cheesy black light posters and newfound interest in sexual experimentation. I found myself surrounded on all sides by the kind of dudes who wore shorts in the winter and blasted Tim McGraw while tucking in their polo shirts and putting on belts to go to a party on Saturday night. There's something about a man in a belt, I'm sorry. And I'm like a 19-year-old in a belt, you know what I mean? Like, come on. And surprise, surprise, I kind of like these jag-offs. I liked watching wrestling and would never mind going in on the party sampler to eat in front of Monday Night Football. Hot wings, onion rings, egg rolls, pizza bites, corn dogs, heart disease. I'm not a just one of the guys kind of person. I fucking hate men. But I love eating and marathon television watching, and I never met any girls in DeKalb willing to endure 6 hours on a busted couch with cold cheese fries and reruns of Mystery Science Theater 3000. John could eat 17 ground beef tacos in one sitting and once watched From Dusk Till Dawn 3 consecutive times on a Tuesday morning before class. Swoon. Adam was convinced that the later we left, the quicker the drive home would be. So we laid in bed all morning watching corny Lifetime Christmas movies and listening to our floor mates leaving for home. I was feeling strangely conflicted, anxious to get back to gossiping in my friends' cozy bedrooms, yet apprehensive about what, if anything, I could contribute to the discussion. I hadn't gone to homecoming, and I didn't have a crush on anyone, and I couldn't remember how to get into my email. This was like at the dawn of email. What was I going to talk about? I got the same activity books everyone else did, and the one time I ventured out to one of the vaguely interesting events, to the movie club, which turned out to be me and 3 other weirdos watching Pulp Fiction in an empty classroom at night with no snacks, I was disappointed and vowed to never try any new things ever again. Except for that one time John dragged me to a Young Republicans meeting. Oh, and Bible club. Can you imagine? Okay, he took me to church once, and like I grew up in church, it's no problem. But it was communion, and they did the thing where you all pass one cup. And I had grown up, in Black people church, you get your individual grape juice, like there's no sharing germs. And the priest came with the cup to me, and I was like, "Sir, I'm so sorry." And everyone got so mad. And I was like, I thought church was about love. I don't want to lick everybody else's mouth who's been on this cup. Okay, back to this. Adam and I were the last ones out of the dorm. Adam hauled the luggage through the hushed, darkened hallways, while John carried what was left of a Budweiser-fueled McDonald's run the week before. a crumpled bag filled with slimy old nuggets and cheeseburgers that he had reheated in the tiny communal kitchen on our floor and cleaned of bits of mold. The three of us slipped and fell across the parking lot toward one of two remaining cars, while sideways winds blew snow directly into our faces. While John wedged his oversized frame horizontally into the back seat, and I struggled to breathe under the weight of what I can only assume were suitcases full of mesh tank tops and Cubs jerseys in the front, Adam uneasily piloted his tiny car through the blizzard and out of the student lot. I shouldn't eat Old McDonald's. An hour on the road, and we were still only 10 miles outside of campus. As holiday traffic inched imperceptibly along, John snored peacefully in the back seat, and I squinted at the radio dial and tried to pick up a signal from DeKalb's one decent radio station. Suddenly, I felt something strike a match in the pit of my stomach. I ignored it, continuing to search vainly for strains of that one Third Eye Blind song everybody knows by heart and hates. What I found instead was droning conservative talk radio, artificially cheerful Christmas carols, the play-by-play of some football game being held in the middle of a cornfield, and there it was again, except this time it was slick, boiling oil churning through my large intestine at breakneck speed. "I need a bathroom," I blurted at Adam, my armpits suddenly damp. "I need a bathroom right now." Adam threw up his hands, helpless inside his toy car, gesticulating wildly toward the stretch of motionless cars in the icy tundra before us and, I don't know, bleating like a teenage girl about how far the nearest exit was. I tried to distract myself from the reality that I was trapped in a metal box with two spray-tan pieces of beef jerky by returning my attention to the useless radio in front of me. An eerie calm washed over me as I felt another wave of molten lava break gently against my intestinal wall. I bolted upright. "I am going to shit in your car," I announced, surrendering to the inevitable. John awoke with a grunt, jumping out of the back seat as Adam desperately yanked the car out of traffic and onto the shoulder. I kicked out of my reasonably priced new Walmart winter boots. John snatched my door open, threw the suitcase I was holding into a snowbank with one hand, and held the empty cheeseburger bag out to me with the other. "In here," he commanded. "Okay, sure, brother." Leaning with my right side against the open car and my left arm wrapped around John's leg for balance, I squatted, hopeful and relieved, my eyes trained on the bead of sweat trickling slowly down Adam's temple. When I first moved into the dorm, I didn't shit for 3 days. The morning after move-in, I got up at dawn and eased out of my room in my freshly purchased pajamas into the dimly lit corridor. I had everything the Bed Bath & Beyond ad suggested a young woman headed off to college would need: a large shower caddy with multiple compartments to carry things from my room to whatever shower stall I could claw a bitch's eyes out to get into so I wouldn't be late for Biology 101. Bacteria-resistant flip-flops to protect me from other people's periods. And a towel big enough to protect my boobs from the prying eyes of girls who had never seen their mother's grown-up veiny breasts before. They still look like that. I tiptoed into the bathroom, glancing under the stalls for tiny manicured feet. When I saw none, I slipped into the closest stall and waited a few seconds before letting out the loudest, grossest fart any non-zoo animal had ever emitted and taking the biggest shit ever, like the fattiest, fast-foodiest dump any human has ever taken. I emerged from the stall several minutes later, light as air, my butthole singing, and ran smack into a trio of girls responsibly washing their faces over the sink, eyes aghast behind the thin layer of Clinique mild cleanser they passed between them. I avoided eye contact in the mirror while washing my hands, then spent the rest of the semester sneakily shitting at 2 p.m. in the crumbling library in the center of campus. But now, I shit all over my jeans, legs, hand, and that greasy, disintegrating bag as good Christian people in Ford Tauruses pretended they weren't trying to figure out what was happening on the other side of Adam's car. After the first wave, I kicked out of my jeans entirely, held my butthole closed as tightly as I could against the cold, wet air, and started digging a toilet hole in the snow. "You are a goddamn genius," John boomed proudly next to me, swirling snowflakes getting caught in his beard. I crouched again as another forest fire raced through my guts. Under ordinary circumstances, I would be totally fucking humiliated, demanding that these dudes turn away from the embarrassment of my thighs. But when you are shitting yourself in public, in broad daylight, the last thing you worry about is some drunk kid from Schaumburg seeing how long your pubic hair is. "Atta girl," Coach John shouted, encouragingly over the dull roar of the howling winter wind, awkwardly patting the top of my head as I was, once again, clinging miserably to his knees while evacuating my bowels onto the side of the road. "You're doing so good." An odd surge of pride rushed through me. Adam, absolutely horrified, tossed me an NIU t-shirt he'd yanked from his gym bag. I fashioned it into a makeshift washcloth, go Huskies, and then used mittenfuls of melting snow to clean out the diarrhea that had splashed into my vagina. John kicked fresh snow into my shithole as Adam hyperventilated inside the car, punching buttons and twisting knobs like a man possessed as he tried valiantly to not look at my shame. The radio finally caught a spark, that bittersweet symphony song that was everywhere in 1997, suddenly crackling out of the tinny speakers. And then the car died. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Okay, should we do some Q&A? Do you have Qs? I have As. And they can be about whatever. It doesn't have to be like, what's your process? We can have fun and be like, what are you watching on TV? Yes. Oh, wait, there's a mic.
Yeah, we're going to pass the mic around.
Yeah, we're streaming this, I forgot to mention, so all questions need to be mic'd. So I saw your hands up. And also I forgot to mention that we do have a summer game code. It's, and just like that. So, and it's posted, in case you care. All right, question.
So something I love about your books is you talk a lot about your bowel challenges. I myself have joined that club. I got my gallbladder out, and I was in a Michael's. Yeah, I was in a Michael's craft store a couple weeks ago, and I basically pooped my pants. It was pretty bad.
Girl.
So as someone in the beginning of this journey, aside from like watching what I eat, because it doesn't matter, I could eat like air, right? What tips or advice do you have? Because it's rough.
This is the best question I've ever received in my life. First of all, in solidarity, ordinarily I wouldn't tell anyone, yes, I would tell people this, but I had to poke a hemorrhoid back in before we got in the car to come here, so you're talking to the right person. First, I would say invest in Preparation H in the silver tube, right? This for everyone. I mean, everyone. I'm not sponsored. I wish. I hope someone streaming works for Preparation H. When you're like, when you poop a lot and your butt hurts and like that pain, like if you get a fissure, if you don't get a fit, just like the discomfort, it smooths all that out. That's tip number one, is always keep some cream on you. I have some on me, should anyone wanna become butt buddies, I got you. I would say, I think the first thing is don't be ashamed that you have to go to the bathroom. That's really hard, I know, because people love to act like they don't poop, but like they do. And like if you have to go, you should go. And you know what? Tell everybody what you're doing. Never don't be like, oh, I gotta excuse myself. And then they're like not ordering appetizers because they wanna wait for you. If I am out with someone and I have to poop, I'll be like, listen guys, I'll see you in 27 minutes. Don't come looking. You know where I am. I'm taking my phone. I will be doing the crossword while on the toilet. But I would say, like, letting go of the shame, it's hard. I still get it. I have to fly tomorrow, and like I'm already thinking, like, oh, I don't want to eat because I don't want to poop on a plane, and you know, blah blah blah. Like it's all consuming. But I think the number one thing is you should never be afraid to take or ask for what you need. Always. And don't ever like try to accommodate anybody else. If people have poop shame, that's on them. You be loud and proud. Be like, you guys, I don't have a gallbladder. I mean, you poop like instantly, right? Yeah.
Within like 5 minutes sometimes.
Yes.
Where's the bathroom?
No, that gallbladder life is real. So like, listen, friends, if you love me, you love my butt. I will eat my dinner on the toilet and we'll meet up later. I'm gonna miss 2/3 of this movie because I'll be in the bathroom because I had popcorn. I would just say that like my biggest tip is to not be ashamed. My second tip is to get good toilet paper. Charmin Extra Strong. Again, a sponsorship. If anyone could make that happen, I would love it. But good toilet paper, it's a treat to your butt. Okay, no 1-ply. Okay, yeah, and Preparation H in the silver tube. And like, fuck anybody who wants to make fun of you or give you a hard time. Life is hard. Do what you gotta do for yourself. No, for real. Everybody in here poops. They all poop and it stinks. I mean, no one's taking like rose-scented, you know what I mean? Like, you're fine. Do what you gotta do. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's true. But you don't want me to talk about pooping for the next however long. I mean, I could. Don't issue me a challenge.
Hi. Well, this next question also involves poop, so apologies in advance if people were looking for a topic
This is the most perfect event
change.
I've ever had in my life.
I have not had the pleasure of reading this book yet, so that story that you just read was new to me, and I'm curious, was that kind of best case scenario of who you could have in a car with you if you are going to have, because I mean, like, it sounds like Coach John was like there for it. You want to talk about like I feel like having an experience like that helps get past this no shame, because you're like, if these two bros can handle it, like anybody can. Like, we all poop, and if it comes, like, you know, do you want to be an Adam, like trying to avoid the situation? You want to be Coach John saying, "Atta girl, you got this, you're a goddamn genius." Like,
It was incredible to be with them. I don't know how they felt. Like John was pretty stoked. He, like, you know, I'm sure he's telling his grandkids about it. But yes, you want to be with your road dogs. But I feel like all of my friends are that kind of person now. Like, maybe not, like, they don't look like, you know, ham hocks or whatever, but they're like, they have that spirit. I think anyone I know, if we were in a car together and I was like, I had a poop right over there, they'd be like, do it, you got it. And you have to surround yourself with people like that. So yes, no, those were the perfect dudes. And they never brought it up. Again, we came back the next semester. They never made fun of me. They never brought it up. It was, I mean, it's pretty amazing. And I'm married to one of them today. No, just kidding. He wishes. He wishes. Okay.
Who's got a question? I got.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna pass the mic over.
This is like one of my best friends on earth, so.
I just wondered if you could talk a little about what's coming up next, what's down the pipeline.
What's coming up next with what?
Down the pipeline, like what have you got going on, new projects?
Okay, I do have a lot of things coming. First of all, I'm traveling tomorrow to go to New York because I am working on the 3rd season of And Just Like That, which, thank you for clapping. Everyone pretends they hate that show, but everyone watches it, so whatever. So tomorrow I'm gonna go like see Carrie Bradshaw and be like, yeah, we're the same. Thank you for, yeah, I mean, yeah, your life is like mine. So that's coming in 2025. They made me co-executive producer this season. So, you guys, I don't know that I can, I always get in trouble for messing up my NDA, but I wrote, I won't get in trouble. There's a very Sam Irby scene in one of the episodes that may or may not relate to something I just read about. I can't believe they let me do it. So we'll see. Keep that in your back pocket. I'm supposed to be working on a book now, but I'm not. So that's Laura who asked that question, and a million years ago, in like 2008, I was getting on Laura's nerves all the time at work, and Laura was like, why don't you start a blog? Because I was irritating her. And so I did. She's the reason I started Bitches Gotta Eat. And I wrote on the internet for a long time. I mean, I still write on the internet all the time. It's just a newsletter now. But I unpublished my blog a couple years ago because I decided to sell it to people. And so I'm taking a bunch of essays from the blog and reacting to them in footnotes throughout each essay. So it's like my 28-year-old self, my 44-year-old self is like going back and rereading. It's killing me. I mean, it's the most humiliating thing I've ever done. So eventually you will be able to read that. And then I'm gonna do another one of these like essay collections eventually. They gave me a 3-book deal, jokes on them. And that, am I doing any, that's it. Yeah, TV, a couple books. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And then Drop Dead. No, just kidding. Poop myself to death.
Who has a question?
Yeah, anything, we can talk about whatever you want.
Oh, we'll be over there in a minute.
Okay, I think in theme of the first essay, and also because I love Tuca and Birdie, do you have any TV recommendations?
First of all, thank you for loving Tuca and Birdie. Oh my God. That show is a dream to work on. If you guys haven't seen it, where can you watch it now? On Max? Well, season 1's on Netflix because they own it and canceled it, but then it got picked up by Adult Swim. So I think the seasons I worked on, 2 and 3, are on Max. It's so good. It's animated, but it's not for children. I mean, you know, I worked on it, so you know. It's incredible. You should watch it. It's about friendship and about, sexual trauma, but in a fun way. So watch that. Okay, TV recommendations. I like to watch a lot of bullshit, so I'll try to spare you that. Okay. First of all, the new season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, mwah, they're back. Those are my girls. I'm watching the Jake Gyllenhaal, Presumed Innocent. That's good. Rewatching Veep. I mean, come on now. What else? Kirsten, what else are we watching? Drag Race. What did we just finish? What? I don't know. Oh, look at. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're watching old episodes of The Challenge. I don't know if, it's garbage for real. Oh my, I watched so much stuff. Why can't I? We watched The Veil, that Elizabeth Scientologist show. What's her name? Moss. Yeah, it's really good. Except I could not tell you what happened in it. Like, I watched it, even with subtitles, and I'm like, what was it about? But it was good. My comfort show is The Good Wife. I'm always rewatching The Good Wife, but only up until Will gets killed. The season, oh, sorry, spoiler. I ruined your life. I'm sorry, but that show came out 10 years ago, babe. Come on now. Come on. Sorry, but he doesn't make it. He doesn't make it. God, I feel like there's stuff I'm missing, but I can't come up with it. Presumed Innocent. The Bear. We just started the 3rd season of The Bear. I love that show. It makes me homesick for Chicago. Yeah. Okay, sorry. At the end of this, I'll think of 10 more shows. Okay. Do we have any other questions?
I had 2 questions. One's related to The Bear. So you're in Chicago and you can eat anywhere. Where would you eat? And also, what authors or books are you recommending these days?
Okay. No, it's good. Okay, in Chicago, if I could eat anywhere. Oh, there's so many. Okay, I'm gonna give one fancy answer and one not fancy answer. Not fancy, Bill's Drive-In in Evanston, best hot dogs in the city. No one goes there. Don't go to Fluky's or any of that. Bill's. It's a tiny place. You can't eat inside. You have to eat in your car like an animal. It's so good. So that's my lowbrow place. There's this Filipino restaurant I love, but it closed. You know what I really like? And this might be cliche, but Duck, Duck, Goat. It's Stephanie Izard's Chinese spot. It's so good. Oh, but also Kuma's. The original Kuma's on Belmont, not the one for the yuppies that they put in Wicker Park or whatever. Big Star Tacos, but also Taco Burrito House on Broadway and Irving. It's open till 4 a.m. Everyone in there is drunk. The tacos cost $3. It's the best. Okay, books. I just read All Fours by Miranda July. That's the it girl book of the summer. We can get into it later. I have some complaints, but I liked it. I'm reading Louisa Luna. She writes thrillers, if you're into thrillers. Incredible. She has a series called the Alice Vega novels, which are good, but I'm reading her new one, which is a standalone, and it's very good. I just got The God of the Woods, the new Liz Moore book. I love her. Backlist stuff, Alyssa Nutting. If you've never read Alyssa Nutting, if you like weird fiction, her stuff is incredible. I always recommend her. Yeah, that's a. Oh, you know what I'm reading that's really good, and I'm like parsing it out. The Jordan Peele Out There Screaming, that collection. Oh my God. Okay, that Chain Gang All Stars, but like Nana's first book, Friday Black. It's a collection of like, I was like, my experience in Hollywood, like, so I've tried to sell some shows and they've been bought but not made. And a lot of the problem is, you know, Hollywood just won't let Black people make weird shit. Like, it's hard. And all my shows are weird. Like, one of them's about like a woman who carries a severed head in a bag. Like, it's so good. And Sony bought it, but then Sony was like, bitch, we're not gonna, could you make this like Only Murders in the Building? And I was like, no, no, it's about anxiety. But I will say in publishing, seeing people of color be allowed to do out there shit is so fulfilling to me. And I'm not even like a big identity guy, but like, because like my experience in Hollywood has been so like, we don't want that from you. Oh, no baby mamas in it. We don't want it. We don't want it. It's so heartening to see in fiction, at least in publishing, that we're allowed to do it. So Friday Black, Chain Gang All Stars, those are, I don't know Nana's full name. It's very long, but you'll figure it out. We're in a library. You'll get it. And then Out There Screaming, the Jordan Peele anthology. Like, while reading it, all of the stories are so good, but I also feel like so grateful to get to read us doing like freaky, spooky shit. So, yeah, okay. Those are my recs.
Okay, we have one over here.
Hi. You
Hi.
seem like a very funny person. Do you have a favorite joke?
Yeah. There are these two guys that are drinking in a hotel bar, right? They're just tossing them back, getting fucked up. The bar is on like a really high floor in the hotel, and they're just getting hammered. And one turns to the other and says, you know, when I'm drinking this, I can do anything. And the friend is like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And he throws a drink back and he's like, watch. He gets up, he goes over to the balcony, and his friend's like, no, what are you doing? And he's like, no, I got this. I told you, I could do anything. He jumps. The friend goes crazy. Everyone in the bar goes ballistic. They all run to the balcony. They're screaming. Somebody's yelling to call the police. 2 seconds later, the guy pops right back up, climbs onto the balcony, walks back into the bar and sits down. Everybody's mystified. The bartender goes to the guy and he says, Superman, you're really an asshole when you're drunk. That's my one good joke. One good joke. Feel free to steal it. Zhuzh it up, switch it around. It's a hit at parties.
Question?
Anybody else?
We go. Yep.
Oh, we have one back here. Thank you, sorry.
Oh.
Hello, Kitty.
So I went to school at Western in Kalamazoo, and I probably have not been there for like 30 years.
Come back.
I used to live next door to Waldo's. I don't know if it's still there. But I am actually coming back in September, so like, are there any cool places in Kalamazoo that we should go?
No.
That's what I thought. I'm a little worried.
No. Okay, wait. I'm lying. Look, my wife's her skeleton's about to jump out of her body. Okay, cool places. Book Bug, the bookstore is very cool. But like, that's not what you mean. You want to like put your nice shit on, right? And go somewhere. Principal is my favorite. The cocktails, very good. And it's like dark and kind of sexy as Kalamazoo can get inside. and the food's good, and like it has a good vibe. So Principal is my like go-to spot. You all are welcome to meet me there anytime. No, I'm just kidding. But they have like cool drinks and like, it's a little pretentious. I like a little of that. I like a little like, tattooed, slick-haired, like mustache twirling kind of bartender or barista. Like that's my thing. Well, speaking of baristas, my friend owns a coffee shop called Factory Coffee. That's pretty cool. But again, Kalamazoo cool. No offense to native. I mean, I've lived there for like 10 years. I shouldn't even talk shit. Like, I am Kalamazoo cool. But Principal is my number one. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyone else?
See one over here.
Everybody's so shy. I mean, you can tell me something too. You want to tell me about your last period? Like, whatever.
Two questions, sorry.
Yes. No, don't apologize. I'm dying up here.
So as somebody who regularly drives through Kalamazoo with her children, is there decent food to be had? First question. Second question is, now that you're like a known quantity, how has writing changed for you?
Oh my God. Oh, well, these are good questions. Okay. Eating with children. Kirsten, help me.
In the summer, you can go to Bell's and they have a beer garden.
Oh yeah,
In the
Bell's
summer, you
Beer
can go to
Garden.
Bell's and they have a beer garden.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. That's a great.
Oh yeah, I should have said Bell's is cool. Bell's is cool. Is there any place else that's a good kid place? The thing about me is I don't have children and they're invisible to me, even as I've lived with two for the last 10 years. I'm like speak and I'm like, what's that wind? So, but no, Bell's is great. And the second question, I will say that I think a little more about who's gonna get mad at me. It is a fatal flaw. I mean, I am wondering like if anyone here right now is mad at me, right? Like in general, I'm like, but in my, like the more people that pay attention to what you're doing, the more open you are to their criticism. Or I don't even know if you're open to it, but it comes at you louder. And so I think when I'm writing sometimes, I think like, do people want this, Or like, will people like this? And I guess it's good that I don't ask anyone directly. I just I'm like, well, the publisher wants it, so those are the only people I have to think about. But I do think more about, because, I always write to make myself laugh and hope that, like, you laugh with me. But I do, like, the more people who pay attention to things. Also, writing for TV is crazy because no one reads books. I mean, you guys read books, but, like, on the whole, people don't read books, but people do watch TV, and they love to throw out a quick take. So I have had a little, oh no, I can't believe so many people watch this episode of television with my name on it and like would like to confront me directly about what they didn't like in that episode. And I want to be like, listen, you call Mr. HBO. Like, I turned that script in 6 months ago and sent it up the chain. I have not seen it in a while. I'm not responsible. So like that sort of gets in my head a little bit, like hearing, when a lot of people are making fun of the thing you work on, like that's tough. But my own work, I think a little more about like many more people than I used to write for are gonna read this. Is this what they want? But because I don't ask them, I just kind of throw it out into the world and hope that they do. So, But yeah, I don't think it has restricted, I like to think it hasn't restricted me, but I do think a little bit more about the reaction than I used to. Going through this old blog, like figuring out what to put in this book, I'm like, I can't believe some of the shit I put on the internet. There is an old blog post where I included a handwritten list of the real names of everyone I had slept with. I was like, are you kidding? You know what I mean? Like, have I ever been that free? Like, I couldn't believe that there was a time where I was just like, Andre, you know, Ron, or whoever, and then posted it, like, on my old blog spot where anybody could see it. So, like, I wouldn't do that now. Not without, like, a pseudonym. but yeah, I definitely, like, think a little bit more about, you know. And then, you know, when you get, like, reviewed, I can't think about it too much. Like, getting reviewed in, like, the New York Times, like, one of my books was reviewed in the Times, and it's just, like, that makes me want to throw up. Like, I don't necessarily write things that I think reviewers will read. It's more like this is for my audience. So I can't think about it too much because, like, honestly, I don't have the skill to, like, do fancy writing. But I never want to put, like, the kind of pressure on myself that's like, oh, this has to, you know, meet a certain standard. So I think a little more about who's going to read it, but ultimately I try not to be as free as 2008 Samantha, who was, I can't believe I did that. But I try not to, like, you know, shut myself down too much. So that'll for sure be in the book. Girl, maybe. Here's the thing. If you want to pay $17 to read that list, maybe I'll give it to you. But I just gave it away for free. The whole internet, I was like, I can't believe, like, these people could sue me. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, maybe I'll put it in the book. Yeah. I'll ask. So I don't know if this is how it works for everyone who writes nonfiction, but all of my books have to get a legal read. Like, me and the lawyer, we're tight. You know, he loves a Zoom meeting. He loves to hit me up and be like, we got to talk about this one. Is this true? Who is that? What's their real name? Can we change the name? Can we disguise this even further? So I'll ask the lawyer if I'm allowed to do that. And if he tells me no, you'll know, because it won't be in the book. Honestly, what I should do is take the list and, like, get, like, rebuttals from those people. Like an interactive kind of, what did you think about our time together? Put that on the news. Yeah. Sorry, my glasses are so steamy. Sorry you have to look at me with this fog.
I don't watch Judge Mathis in real life, but I love your newsletter.
Thank you.
I think I read that in your newsletter that the show is ending.
Oh,
Is
it
that
ended.
true? It ended. And,
It ended.
Well, can we still expect more newsletters?
Yes. Okay, first of all, if you guys have not watched Judge Mathis, you should. He's like Detroit's finest. Like, he is a product of Eastern Michigan. You should embrace him and love him. So the show ended, but praise be to the God of Warner Brothers. They keep uploading old episodes onto his YouTube. And so I'm stacked. There's so many episodes. So I'm gonna keep writing it. One of the greatest achievements in my professional life was I came home, I don't know where I was, but we came home, there was a message on our home answering machine because we still have a home phone, and it was a guy who was like, Hi, this is, for Samantha, this is David at Warner Brothers. And I just wanted to talk to you about your Judge Mathis newsletter. And if I didn't call him back right away because I thought like he was gonna sue me because I was doing something illegal. But I did call him back and he was like, I produced the show and we love the newsletter. The judge knows about it. Yeah, that's what I did. And then I had a Zoom with all the producers and we were gonna work together, but then the show got canceled, so I know, not meant to be. But I will keep writing the newsletter, which you all should, even if you don't know who Judge Mathis is, I'm a genius, so it's very funny. No, I'm just kidding. But it's very funny. It's funny. And sometimes I write about other stuff, too, if you don't like TV courtroom commentary.
I think we have time for one final question over here.
I feel like this is a silly question.
Right.
Fellow Aquarius, I'm wondering, so it's two things. I wonder if you are interested in astrology at all, if you know your big three, and also if you would tell us about some of your tattoos.
So astrology, I'm interested in it when it tells me something I want to hear. Like, if somebody's like, oh, you're doing that thing and it's so Aquarius, I'm like, yeah, But like, well, here's the sad thing. I'm not 100% sure of the time I was born. And I murdered my parents, so I can't ask them. No, they're just dead. I didn't kill them. Well, you have to like order a long form. I'm not doing that. Like, we'll have to call the city of Evanston to get, hey guys, I want to get my chart done. Can I get, like, I can't make that call. Spiritually, I cannot like call someone to find that out. I'm pretty sure, my sister was pretty sure of the time I was born, and she said I have a Leo rising, which tracks, right? Like, if you know astrology. But also, I think, I could read any horoscope and be like, that's me. That's me too. That's me too. So, the biggest reason I don't follow astrology is because it's too much stuff. I can't be checking the moon every day. Are you fucking kidding me? The people who have patience for that, I love it. I love you. You get your Channy Nicholas. I follow Channy on Instagram. Sometimes she pops up and I'm like, the third moon of swipe, but I can't. It's too much. It's too much. I can't pay attention to the moon. I can't. I can't do it. I cannot. I will die if I have to do that. That was a great question, but boy, you just put a lot on my mind. If it's controlling me, I can't. It's scarier than God. If there's a God controlling your life, it's well, okay, all right. But the planets, I got to know about Mercury. Come on. I have to go to work. I don't have time for that. I can't do it. But I love that you do it. No, I do. The girlies who, my wife has crystals and stuff that she charges under the full moon. I'm not doing that. But I love that she does. I love that she does that. I'll never do that, but I love that she does it. And I believe it. I told you, I believe that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston are having an affair. I believe it. I just can't. Anything that takes more than zero attention, it's too much. I'm like a stoner, my brain. I can't keep all that shit together. But I love that you love it. And yes, I'm an Aquarius, and I do have some Aquarian tendencies. I'm weird. Or I don't even know what they are. Extremely off-putting. Yeah, I have that. Okay, my tattoos. Let's see. Should we talk about the ones you can see? That's Ursula. That's a Chicago hot dog. That's some real fat bitch shit to have a hot dog on your hand. My knuckles say born dead. It doesn't mean, it's just like cool. It's like metal. It's not like sad. Ignore this mosquito bite. This is a tombstone that says welcome home. Let me tell you about that one. There's this dude in Chicago who's like a friend of a friend. He's like a lecherous old dirtbag. I love him, but he's like disgusting. And he's always like flirting with me, but in a gross way. You know how like when you're with somebody and so people feel free to flirt, because it's like, especially like when you're with a woman and like a man will be like, yeah, we're just, you know, but like, he's like, he feels safe to do it because he's like, oh, you got a wife, this isn't real. So he's like that. And I was in Chicago like working, and he sent me a text that was like, welcome home, baby, can't wait to see you. And so in honor of that, I got a tombstone that says welcome home, because that's how I felt, like I wanted to die. I have, let's see, what else can we talk about? I have a Chinese symbol on my neck that means the wrong thing. I'll write about that one day. We'll get into that. I have a bunch of like, oh, these sleeves don't roll up, but a bunch of like, like biker tattoos, like reapers and stuff, because this is how you know I'm a stupid person. Like people are always like, oh, don't call yourself dumb. And I'm like, I wear that badge with honor. I got really into Sons of Anarchy. Speaking of TV shows, if you haven't watched, you should. And I loved him so much that I got a bunch of biker tattoos. I have a bunch of tribal tattoos because I am old and started getting tattooed in 1998, and that's what you did. I have a quote from There Will Be Blood. I want no one else to succeed. I have that tattooed right across my boob. God, that movie, what a banger. I look at others and see nothing worth liking. Like, that's my dude. And I have a bunch of like, I got this new tattoo artist in Grand Rapids who like specializes in like healing and, you know, trauma and whatever. And she drew a bunch of like healing herbs. You can kind of see them. But then below that, I had her put a toilet with flowers growing out of it. So, oh wait, okay, hold on. We're about to get a little, can you see? There's the bowl, there's the flowers, there's the tank. So a little mix. I don't believe in like precious tattoos. Like I love if you have them, if you're like, this is my meaningful whatever, but that feels like so much pressure to me to like have your body be meaningful. I just want a bunch of dumb trash all over my body that's funny and fun. I like to have fun. If you see with my shirt off, I want you to burst out laughing. Like that's the kind of vibe I'm giving. So all of my tattoos are like dumb. Yeah, I don't take anything seriously. I should, but I don't. Was that the last one?
Let's
I love ending on the toilet tattoo.
I know. Well, let's give a round of applause first
Thanks,
of all.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.